how to draft a complaint and prosecution related issue. For powers of drugs inspector in the morning, Mr. Ahuja has already spoken about. There is a misprint in the program. Okay, what is the most interesting work under Drugs and Cosmetic Act? Which interests you, which gives you excitement, which gives you energy? Prosecution, very right, because that is the end point. What else? Before going to prosecution, what you need? What you need?
Investigation.
Investigation, right, but how the investigation starts? Pardon? Seizure means detection of an offense, hence you seize, or detection of offense by test report, and for test report you need sampling. So you see, in this whole chain, every point is very interesting, and every point requires your full attention and competency. So today we will be taking sampling, and it is the most interesting part. If you read only section 23 and 25, that's all. And I assure you, every time you read it, you will find something else is also there. Although we can read the words in the first time itself, but the meaning behind that, in practice, which law requires to be done and is mandatory, we will not say that this is my interpretation. There is no interpretation. Simple, direct, straight meaning. But find a situation what for this provision has been given, then what has not been said will come to the forefront. We will be dealing simultaneously everything which you can read directly and which is there but you cannot read directly. So what is a sample? What is meaning of sample? You are saying it, writing it, hearing it every time. What is meant by sample? You go to a sweet shop, you want to purchase some sweet. What you tell he, let me have a taste of that, one piece, give me one piece. Then you purchase from the bulk, isn't it? Sample means this much. Sample is a small amount out of the bulk. The quality of the bulk is determined by the quality of the sample. When we take a sample of drug, it means that particular batch is of standard quality if this sample has been found, because the testing is destructive in nature. The amount you take for testing, that will be destroyed, and there may be 2 lakh tablets in one batch. So how can we say that one batch is, every tablet of that batch is qualifying with these standards? We take few tablets, test them, because they take the tablets at random. So statistically, quantities, number, how many tablets, this and that has been determined and given the pharmacopoeia for the pharmacopoeial drugs. And where the pharmacopoeial drug is not there, then the standards are given schedule V, right? I am very happy that analysts, government analyst is also here, and other analysts are also here, and we have to be on the same level of thinking, the DCOs and analyst also. So sample, how do we change? Yes. Dictionary meaning, you can see what I have told you. Now the thing which we are sampling, when we are saying the drug, can be API, it has a different physical state. It can be API, it can be formulation, it can be liquid, it can be gas, it can be biological product, or anything else, or any dosage forms. Dosage forms are also very different, you are all aware. Cosmetics, about the type of preparations, so many type of that. Medical devices, various functionalities, shape, type, features and performances. So there is a wide variety of material which you are supposed as DCO to sample it. And therefore, depending upon its state, its physical shape, size, properties, physico-chemical properties or performance properties, you have to out how to take that sample, but the basic procedure remains the same. And where it is given? Where it is given? which is the section giving procedure for sampling? Section 23. This is very important, and believe me, it is very concise. Your every answer is given in that. Whatever we will discuss in detail. Anybody having any question at any point of time during this presentation, he can raise the point there and then immediately, right? Features of a drug sample. The sample what you are taking, it has certain salient features. You must not destroy that. Your sampling procedure, way of packing, way of sending, it must not adversely impact those features. Those features must be preserved while sampling. It should not differ from the remaining bulk. It should represent the whole bulk. There may not be bulk. Many times you go to the retail shop, there are only four bottles, or there may be 1,000 bottles. When you are taking from 1,000 bottles, it should not be different from the bulk one, because on this basis it is presumed by administration that the rest of the bottles are also okay. But you selectively, if you do, then it will be heterogeneous sample. However, always keep an eye, there may be a batch where only 10 temples are contaminated, showing the fungal growth, and there may be 1,000 bottles which are not showing contaminated. So our purpose is not to take good bottles. We must take where some adverse things are visible. Our purpose is not to show that I have fulfilled my monthly target. Our purpose is to detect if there is any drug not complying with the provisions. It may be drug, cosmetic, or similar things. It must represent the bulk in homogeneity. Just like in the same manner, in manufacturing area, you must be having some background in manufacturing. If not, actually you have gone through the books also. So when a bulk of the drug is made, first it is mandatory to take a sample and test it. If it is coming to the particular compliance, then you fill that liquid into the bottle, or if it is tablet, then you compress it, specified amount of the granules into tablets. Similarly for injections. So the bulk and sample taken should be homogeneous. It has to be kept in mind. You don't have to write, I have taken a sample from a bulk and have taken care that homogeneity. No, you don't have to. Always follow the method prescribed. What is the biggest advantage? If I follow the procedure prescribed in the act for the purpose of act, and if I follow the procedure prescribed by my administration, what is the advantage? My job is safe. Okay? When you are following a procedure prescribed, you will not be questioned why you followed this procedure. But if you make your own thing which are away from the prescribed one, then be ready that you have an explanation for that, and sound explanation for that. So one sample quantity should be divided into number of portions legally required. What is the requirement? Legal requirement under section 23. How many portion has to be made? 4. And if it is a manufacturing unit, then 3, right? Why it is so, we will discuss step by step. But when it is prescribed, there is no question why. It is given in the act. We have to do it. We can't justify by not doing that. Each portion must be packed to preserve the quality and features of that moment. I am using the word. At that moment, when you are taking sample, whatever features are there, good or bad, they must be preserved. If it is good, it's all right. If bad, all right. Second point is, don't become analyst. You know it is a fungus, but don't say it is a fungus, because without testing you cannot say fungus. So you can say extraneous material, foreign material, fibrous. If it is fibrous, indirectly it means it will be fungal. But you should not go into shoes of a analyst. So analyst work will be done by analyst, and drug inspector work will be done by drug inspector. Do not subject to any physical or chemical processing while sampling. Don't warm it, heat it, cool it to examine it, and you find something again you sample it. No, you can examine, but don't take a sample. If you have to warm or do something like that, don't take the sample, take other containers from that bulk to substantiate the results of the sampling. So don't subject to any processing, physical or vigorous or something like that before taking sample. Take as it is. Preparation for taking sample. In nature, it is every time that for any step to take, any process to take, there is some preparation by nature also and for us also. We want to come to office, we prepare for the office. Similarly, when you are going to take sample, certain things you have to check whether you have harnessed yourself with all the equipments, materials, knowledge, books, forms, preparations and any manpower you need there. So before stepping out for taking sample, keep Drugs and Cosmetic Act 1940 with you. Don't go, take simple bare act, it costs only 60 rupees, 50 rupees, thin. Don't take the whole book. Have printed performa for Form 17 and 17A when we are talking about drug. I will show you what are the other performas for MD and for cosmetics. So wherever I am saying Form 17, you can substitute for MD and for cosmetics accordingly, but I will show you what are the performers. Metal seal. I have written the metal, these are not written in the Act, but Act does not mean it gives you SOP. Act is not SOP. Act shows only mandatory things which must be done. In what manner you have to decide. So metal seal, why it is a metal seal? It cannot be plastic seal, it cannot be wooden seal, because when you seal the lacquer, lot of heat is there. Its melting point is 350 degrees centigrade. So after putting seal on it, you must take away all heat. Then it will set. Otherwise your seal will get fixed to that and it will be difficult to. So metal, thick metal seal, I'll go for that. What like of seal it should be there. Other officers if going for sudden inspection or commonly called raid. If you are going for raid, if you know some offense will be there, there may have to be large amount of seizure or any unforeseen situation, take your colleagues or any officers or manpower or police, whatever you deem fit, and then move out. Preparations for taking samples, packing materials such as craft paper, it should be with you. Craft paper, you understand, brown craft paper, which must include transparent, sturdy containers. There should be some containers. Best is glass containers, but glass has a liable to be broken. Say take polycarbonate container, which are very transparent. They have better heat resistance as compared to plastic, but still they are not as resistant to bear the heat of the lacquer. We will discuss how to seal that later on. Sealing material, spirit lamp, candle, lacquer, melting pot and applicator. The ideal putting lacquer and sealing is you should have a melting pot made up of porcelain. It should be heated on a tripod stand using flame, and you put the pieces of the lacquer. When it is fluid, then with the help of brush, which is also called an applicator, you apply very thin layer on the paper, cloth, glass, whatever it, where you want to put a seal, and immediately impress with your seal and remove it. The layer should be thin. Thick seals, they come out. So it's an art how to put that, and how the impression should look we will discuss when the point comes. Sale premises. Now let us see, we have gone to a sale premises. I presume everybody of you have gone to a sale premises and taken sample. Anybody who has not done this, who has not done this exercise, taking sample? So no, there is no answer, means everybody has done it. Now CRPC has been replaced by BNSS. So only numbers will change. Most of the things are same, but some new things have also come. Approach sale premises with a smartphone camera or video on. लेकिन कब चाहिए? where you are sure seizure has to be made. But how do you know seizure has to be made? So, from starting you put on your camera and have the approaching videography, so that the premises is visible, its locality also is captured, any person standing there is also captured. It is especially required when the premises is unlicensed, because you do not know who. And where you know the premises are licensed and you don't suspect that he is a big violator, you may not do it. For sampling, no videography is required if it is done from licensed shop or manufacturing unit. But when it is being done from the unlicensed shop or manufacturing unit, then videography is required under section 105 BNSS. Or seizure is being made, search and seizure require videography. Sampling is not a search and seizure, except when it is unlicensed, then this will be asked for, because you may have to do sampling as well as seizure. While sampling, no witness of the localities are mandatory, but not forbidden. If you include, it is no violation, but it is not mandatory. If we have time, we can discuss why this is mandatory in this case, is not mandatory, and why in seizure it is required. What is the law behind that? But during search and seizure, or on occasion when visible case of prosecution is made out, include two witnesses from the locality. The purpose is, it gives credibility that you did visit that area. Its only purpose is that you did visit that area. That is why two witnesses were possible to be included on your inspection report. It is not necessary that they corroborate your version in the court, but their presence should be on the documents that you included the person. It is not that you were sitting in your office, ask two persons, you sign on the papers. The purpose is that. But during the search and seizure, or on occasion when visibly case of prosecution, whenever there is a clear-cut case or preemption that there will be prosecution, always include a witness. Sample premises entered. We approached the premises, now we are going to enter it. Keep count of team members, because from the office maybe you have got an authorization of a team, that in this team these officers will be present. So maybe somebody just goes away, he has some personal work, check whole of the team is there or not. Do not allow persons more than necessary. Don't create a huckus ruckus there, or allow unnecessary people. Don't call your friends or relatives just for meeting them, because you are going in that city and you have called, okay, I am doing some work, if you want to meet you can come here. Don't do this, nothing personal. Identify witnesses with respect or their personal credentials. Always be polite to everybody and ask their personal credentials. Keep the atmosphere cool. This is the most important thing. Whenever you are acting out of the office, be cool. Court, be cool. Even in office also and at home also. Introduce yourself as person and purpose of visit. Inquire the particulars and status of the person in charge. Now you are facing a man standing there. Either you know it, he is the proprietor or pharmacist or director of that particular firm, or you do not know. If you do not know, then inquire whether it is licensed or not, and satisfy yourself whether what he has told is believable or not. If not, then cross question and ask for more. And even if you have to inquire from their neighbors, you can call them, ask. But he is the man who sits in this shop. Where does he live? So your inquiry regarding the identity of the person should be correct. Check the status of the license, first thing. Check the copy of the last sale memo. Always make a habit. Out of the records, first note down what is the last sale memo issued. Otherwise, these records can be changed later on. Get cleared of unnecessary articles. One cycle is there, one vessel is there, one wheat bag is there. get your area cleaned so that you don't meddle with or something else does not enter into your. Inspect, determine if the samples are to be taken for test or not. How to determine whether I should take sample or not? There should be some basis. How do you determine? Yes. How do we determine whether I should take a sample or not? Yes, I'm asking you here, please. You are drug control officer? Achha, what are you?
I'm the owner of the medicine.
You are owner of the
Medicine.
medicine? Okay. Then this question is not for you. You are the.
Even I also.
You are DC?
Even I also, sir. Medicine shop.
Okay. Any DCO? Yeah. Madam, okay, you can tell. How do you determine that I should take a sample and in what way you find out a sample? First is the past history. If you know that he is violator, must take sample. Second is the appearance there inside. And third is the questions you put to him. If he is prompt, shows the records, tells the things. So you have little suspicion. It is not necessary that you should have suspicion, only then you take sample. Still you can determine, but which sample to be taken? I have determined I'll take a sample from here. Then which sample to be taken? There is no necessity that you should have a reason to believe something contravention is there. No, it is not. It is not predetermined. Question? Any question regarding this? Achha, okay. Inspection and choosing the drug to be sampled. Take close look at all drugs. All drugs does not mean कि हर packet को आप उठाएंगे. You go through whatever type of drugs are there, and that will give you impression in your mind कि yes, this is the stock from where I should take a sample. I'll tell you certain hints also. Especially in cold storage, refrigerator must be checked. And the rear part of the premises, go to the rear part, which will be, if it is a hanky-panky shop, you will find there's a darkness there. There are a lot of unwanted things, empty cartons, paper, everything will be there. So a messy shop is a good candidate for sampling. You will find something fishy which the owner of the shop knows. When I say word shop, it also applicable to manufacturer. In the manufacturer premises, same thing will happen. Check LVPs. Everybody knows the case of deaths, right? Everybody is aware. Many things come up in media, in departmental circular, this and that. And it is my observation, many times the most important things are ignored. I tell you a case of LVP where the person was wholesale dealer and mainly his dealing was with LVP. At that time, these were glass bottles. These FFS was not there. So how they are supplied by the manufacturer? In a big carton, having 24 bottles in one carton, and several cartons, maybe 150, 200 cartons they are supplied. How does he keep? How does he keep such cartons? You are DCO? No. Yes, sir. With specs. Yeah. I want answer from that. How do you find? Yeah, you are DCO, drug officer? Okay. How do you find in a premises retail, say wholesale, where quite a good number of LVP bottles are there in a carton? So how the cartons are stored, stacked? In what manner you will find? Normally, no special knowledge is required. As you enter into the shop, what will you find? You got the question or not? I'll repeat. Do you get the question what I'm asking? Yeah. If yes, then answer. You have not understood? I will repeat. I enter into a shop, which is a wholesale shop. He deals with exclusively with the LVP, glass bottles. Glass bottles are in the cardboard cartons, and those cartons are stacked one above the other. ऐसे ही होता, because there is a large number of that. So this is the scenario if you find that. Now I want to sample, I means you want to sample. So there are hundreds of cartons. So which way you will select? I will take from this carton without opening it.
Lower part.
Yes. Okay. Why? What happens to the lower part?
Already pressure, over pressure.
Oh, it has extremely adverse effect on the sealing. How it happens? The rubber cap in the bottle, it gets compressed. When the upper cartons are removed, because he cannot remove from the bottom, he will remove the upper one. Then the pressure released. But the rubber plug does not come to its reshape and the seal becomes loose. In the daytime, the overhead air expands, pushes the seal rubber plug bung upward. At the night, when temperature is low, the volume of the overhead space contracts and it sucks back the seal down. So there is this movement every day. And in this process, contamination is sucked in. You will be surprised to see the cartons at the bottom have bottles with fungal growth or suspended matter, whatever it may, as the case may be. Top bottles are still clear. If you take sample from the top, they will come out perfectly all right with respect to sterility. But in the bottom, very high likely, if the cartons more than 3 are stacked one above the other. This study has been made. Not more than 3 cartons one above the other should be there. So how to stack? He should have racks. In one rack, 1 carton, second carton, third carton, over. Even in manufacturing unit also. And then upper rack, again 3, 3, 3, like that. One should, but people don't do. On the floor itself, there is a stack of 8. Isn't it? Have you observed? Yes. This is never taught, that the improper storage has lent to this adverse effect. You are the only officer who can know, who can go very close to the realities, why this sample is failing. Analysts cannot know because they will get only sample portion. How it was being stored, you will. So always observe how the things have been kept, whether they are orderly. If disorderly, suspect something is going to come out. Check LVPs from the lower rows. Check eye drops vials after opening 1 or 2 vials. Nowadays, you see, if you go to the previous edition of the pharmacopoeia, it was a requirement that the eye drop should be transparent. The container of the eye drop should be. For the last 25 years, it is not so. It can be opaque also. And it is opaque. Now, 99% eye drops are in opaque PP white color vial of the same size. If you open it and take a drop out, you can come something which may be desired for sampling. So open the eye drops or label. Label is the first indicator. I presume label you will read, and if there is something wrong, you will act accordingly. Interesting thing, one example I have given here, moxifloxacin vials. Eye drops, again in white polypropylene vials. You know what is moxifloxacin, sir? It is antibacterial agent, okay? So its eye drops are very common outside. If you look against the light, it will turn yellow. It is property, fluorescence. If you look against even this white light or sunlight, distinct yellow vial, whole of the vial will look yellow. Although light has not gone inside, but it has diffused. It has a fluorescence property. So you have to develop certain hints. And moxifloxacin vial, if it is not showing yellow fluorescence, 100% moxifloxacin is, the ingredient is absent in that particular vial. So while working, you develop your own hints, and phenylephrine always open the one vial. It turns into black solution because it's a highly oxidizable agent, and in eye drops it is very difficult to give a seal where the oxygen exchange will be prevented, because it is not the rubber plug, it is the wad, plastic wad, which is never perfect seal. Check labels. Labels tell a lot of story. Most of the people must have see the, suppose this is tablet, if color is mentioned, open a strip and see what is the color of the tablet. The counterfeit products make an error. They reproduce the label, but they don't go to the color what was inside. So it is one of the hint. Erythromycin tablets as made by Alembic, they were detected like that because earlier IP was not permitting colors. So every tablet has to be white. Then it permitted the color. The Alembic, they started adding colors, and the counterfeit did not have any color because they were replicating in the same manner. So if you read the label, it is not only color, so many things are surfaced. Spellings, font size, design, matching. If you have any doubt, ask for a genuine sample from some other shop. I cannot say that the other shop sample is genuine or this shop, but compare, make an attempt to that. Choosing a sample tablet, examine strip, carton, additional observation for color, printed, description, dosage form, clue, check tablets for any abnormal color, spot, pick, moisture, etc., discoloration of peeled surface. Always check rabiprazole tablet, peel it out. It is film coated. You will find discoloration, grayish, black. Break the tablet. You will find the core is just dot white, and rest is gradually becoming white from dark gray down to center less gray. Assay will be low. If the color has changed, assay will definitely be low. Similarly, injections, look for suspended foreign material. I may bring one thing because analyst is here. SVP are not subject to particulate matter test. If you read the general requirement, but it says it is practically free from particulate matter. If it is too much, if you find 1 or 2 particle, it is acceptable all over the world. But in large volume, it is not acceptable. There is a test called contamination, and you have to do instrumentally, not by. Any subjective test is not a legal test. For example, coloration of API, it's white to off-white, yellow. It is not a legal standard. So we should fail a sample only on point of legal standards, which are informative standards. They are not the mandatory standards. Dry syrup powders, etc., in the same manner. Inspection and choosing a cosmetic. Premises do not require any license for sale. Sale license चाहिए cosmetics के लिए नहीं, but for manufacturing, yes. Sample will be taken from sales stock on form COS 10. Now form 17 will not be used because in the rules these have been prescribed. So form 7, you see in cosmetic rules also section 23, 22, 25, they are applicable. But these forms have been separately mentioned, prescribed, so you have to use proper form. For cosmetics, you have to use COS 10. When price is refused, then COS 15, not 17A. Sample portion will be sent to the government list on form COS 17. Sample portion under section 25 shall be sent by magistrate to director on form COS 20. The director CCL. Now this is not the CDL, it is CCL. Send the test report to the magistrate on form COS 21. Government analyst shall send test report on form COS 21. Shall send, I have to check if there is an error. because it has to be different from the director and cosmetics. I think there is some error. For inspecting and choosing a sample of cosmetics, same principles as the drug apply. For MD also, for cosmetic also, same principles, same procedures will be followed, forms will be changed. Inspection and choosing a medical device to be sampled under the medical device rule. Again, section 22, 23, 25 of the Act will be applicable. Intimation to persons from whom sample is taken on MD 36. If price is refused, MD 37. Memorandum to the medical test device testing officer on MD 38. Sample portion on by magistrate to CMDTL. Now the appellate laboratory is CMDTL on form MD 30. Report will be on 31. Report of test or invoice or medical devices by testing officer, medical devices testing officer instead of government analyst will be on form 32. So you should update yourself, keep a list, keep a table in your bag, whatever you carry for taking samples, and use correct. If you are using incorrect samples, you cannot justify in court and the case is going to fail, whatever may be the seriousness. Inspection, choosing drug or cosmetic or medical device, etc. Procedure for inspection, same as you do. Selection, sampling for all these three remains the same as per section 23. The test report are also in triplicate sent by the medical device testing officer or governmentalist or for the cosmetics under section 25. Challenging provision is the same as for the drug. We will discuss in detail what is section 25. Provision for magistrate for sending a sample portion after challenge, I have told procedure is same, form is different. Appellate authority sends the test report, again procedure is the same, forms are different for the three things. Quantity of sample, in the morning also it has been discussed, and over the last 20 years it has been discussed what should be the quantity. Our basis should start Drugs and Cosmetic Act. Then we delve into anything else. The current is we have two sources. One is the guideline issued by the DCGI and the other is section 23 gives. What is given in section 3? In the section 23, what is given? We discussed that. Ideally, the quantity of the sample should be such that the complete legal parameters are easily tested by the testing officer as per prescribed standards of the drugs and cosmetics and MD. But if you follow the DCGI guideline and the quantity available with a retailer is only very small, then should we leave that? These are smart people. He will keep 3 bottles of a liquid so that you cannot make 4 samples, 4 portions. If 20 bottles are required for LVP, he will never keep 20. If 100 tablets are required for a particular tablet, he will never keep 100, 3 strips. So the drug inspector will say quantity is less and I cannot take sample, he is in a fix. No guideline, no rule give a situation that you cannot act if it is required to be acted upon. How we are going to discuss that. There can be a situation you find LVP bottle 1 having foreign material and we understand it is a fungus. Now how to sample that? How to get it tested? Can we get it done? There is only 1 bottle of LVP. क्या एक्ट में कोई प्रोविजन है? I will not talk about the guidelines. I'll talk about the guidelines must be followed if they can be followed. If they cannot be followed, the Drug Act must prevail. Guidelines don't overrule the Act. Act can overrule guidelines. So guideline is for smooth functioning in a normal way. But there can be absolutely different situation. There is a complaint that he purchased 1 bottle from this bottle, gave it in the hospital and the patient died because of that bottle only. The drug inspector goes to the shop and finds for the same batch, for the same product, there is only 1 bottle and the defect is visible or may not be visible. But there is a complaint of death. You can't say because there are not 20 bottles or there are not 4 bottles, I cannot take sample. And while putting the complaint, you say it could not be sampled, therefore we don't have any test report. But for proving that it has a connection with the death, you have to have test report. Your verbal information or statement of the doctor, they have no value. What can be seen must be seen. What can be tested must be tested. That evidence is required. Only then this is a case for conviction. On dubious reasons, no conviction can be based. It has to be beyond doubt. You have conducted prosecutions, everybody. डॉक्टर साहब ने तो जरूर किया होगा, है ना? So in conviction, the magistrate or this judge has to come to a conclusion. The prosecution has proved the guilt beyond doubt. Then he has held guilty. If there is a possibility he may not be guilty, then he will be acquitted. Any possibility of innocence will lead to acquittal. But for conviction, there should be no two opinions. Only then conviction will be done. If test report has been challenged, then again only one portion is sent by magistrate, which is tested by the appellant. Now situation is what? We go to a shop. If there are sufficient medicines, we can make 4 portions and send to governmental list. Suppose declared to be not of standard quality, prosecution launched, one can challenge and the magistrate can send to the appellate laboratory. There is no problem in this case, no complication at all. There is no complication at all. Now, suppose LVP I was talking, there are 3 bottles left. You are in a fix. 2 bottles left. Still you are in a fix. No bottle left, then there is no problem because the thing is not there. Then you have to use some other way. But if 1 bottle is left, there has to be test report for conviction of that particular person. Suppose, as I gave the extreme example, that it was a case that death took place because of 1 bottle, same batch, only 1 bottle is available there. Then what to do? Blood bags. How many blood bags are from 1 batch? Anybody who looks after the blood banks? Nobody looks after blood banks? Yes, you look after, sir? Do you look after blood banks? No. Nobody is looking after blood banks. It's important to interact. Yeah, you? Who? Who? He's here? He's not here? Where is he?
Just now he went.
He went out. Okay. And nobody else is present here. You see, you take out, bleed a patient, unique identity number is a single only. So if you, from 1 person you don't make 2 bottles or 4 bottles, do you make? So there always will be 1 unit from 1 person and the same unit number will not be for anything. So in 1 batch only there is 1 bag in all cases, no exceptions. Am I right? You are getting? You are also getting? And now how to test it? Legal sample. How to? You see, the blood bank, the societies which cover state blood bank societies, they have a direction that monitoring should be done. Once in a while, bags nearing expiry, they can be tested for the complete testing. But again, that bag will be over and it is not a legal sample. How to do that? We will discuss. It can be done. How to sample radiopharmaceuticals? Sir, what is his good name? Sir, I want to discuss with you something. how many blood bags can be there with one unique identity number? How many blood bags can be of the same batch? Maybe I am not able to convey. There is always one bag from one donor, right? There cannot be 2 bags, 3 bags, 4 bags, isn't it? Then how to take a legal sample? That is being discussed. I will discuss that. All right? I'll discuss each case separately. Quantity of sample to be drawn. Now, let us see what the Act says. Then we'll go to the guidelines. Every genesis, even if he is DCGI, he cannot go out of the Act. He can give instructions to enforce any provision of the Act, but cannot bypass, which is derogatory to the purpose of the Act. He cannot make any provision which dilutes the effect of any provision of the Act. He can augment it by giving more direction. You take more samples, more quantities, but he cannot say don't take sample if there is a one bottle. But the drug inspector should know what should I do it. Says that the Act doesn't tell how to take a sample of one bottle. Let us read out section 23(3). All those who have Drug Act with them, they can also read, otherwise it is on the screen. Section 23(3). Section 23, where an inspector takes a sample of a drug or cosmetic for the purpose of test or analysis, he shall intimate such purpose in writing in the prescribed form to the person from whom he takes it, and in the presence of such person, unless he willfully absents it. The things which are important I have highlighted with different colors. Shall divide the sample into 4 portions and effectively seal and suitably mark the same, permit such person to add his own seal and mark to all or any of the portions so sealed. So, the crux from the first para what I have written is that he shall divide the sample into 4 portions.
In this case, how will you divide?
When
In case of single,
I'll come, I'll take separately. That is a separate slide presentation in this manner only. First, let us understand what the Act says. Provided that, further that, where the drug or cosmetic is made up of containers of small volume, हम यही रुक जाते हैं. जो ऊपर आया है उसका मतलब he will take a sample. Here एक sample एक container लेगा, उसको खोलेगा और उसको 4 में डालेगा. Have you seen फूड में मिल्क वेंडर से कैसे लेते हैं? उसके ड्रम में से वो 3 पोर्शन बनाते हैं. ठीक है, दोबारा मैं पढ़ता हूँ.
in case of parenterals,
हाँ आते हैं. I will not leave anything. We have to do completely. I told you I'll discuss sample from head to toe. We'll discuss every situation. Any other situation you can raise the point. Provided further where the drug or cosmetic made up of container of small volume. Now the container means there is one bottle, say 500 ml, it is a syrup, or say let me say glycerin, which does not deteriorate when it is opened. So he will take one bottle of glycerin, he should have a container, make total 4 portions. Transfer 100 ml, 100 ml, 100 ml, 450 ml, like that, and pack and seal. This is one situation. If the bottle is say 25 ml, same glycerin, then he can take 2 or more containers. 2 or more means sufficient number of container so that the quantity is sufficient for the analyst. 2, 3, 4, 5 till it is sufficient for testing. Small volume SVPs, again one ampule will never suffice, maybe 20 ampoules, 25 ampoules, maybe 50 ampoules, maybe 100 ml. Adrenaline 1 ml, 1 ml, half ml. half ml injection, 1 ml injection. Tetanus toxide, half ml injection, 1 ml injection, half ml, right? So you are taking, so you should know what is the content and how much will be required approximately. You don't have to measure with inches. So take sufficient number so that the analyst is able to perform that, right? So the act does not say कि you should take so many quantity for particular drug, so many for the other drug, so many. Generally it has given, and it covers the point what I was discussing. I'll go into detail later on. So the requirement under the act is if the container having sufficient volume, then divide into 4. If the container does not have a sufficient volume or quantity or numbers, then take more than what is starting, then 2 or more or 3. So it is not starting for any number. It has not written any. Here the further quantity is sufficient for the complete analysis. In cursory reading, it shows a sample means consisting of one container, say a bottle of syrup, which is to divide it into 4 or 3 depending upon it is manufacturing unit or sale unit. Portion subject to the large bottle is the subject to the bottle is large enough to so that after division each portion has enough quantity of the content out of the one sample bottle. यहाँ तक is it okay? समझ आ रही है जहाँ तक जितना मैंने पढ़ा है, right? I go to the quantity of sample to be drawn. If the bottle is small, the content of each portion will be too low to suffice the testing. उसमें क्या कहता है एक्ट कहता है instead of dividing a sample aforesaid, the inspector may, if the drug or cosmetic be such that it is likely to deteriorate or otherwise damage by exposure, take 3 or 4 as the case may be. It has not given the number after 4, but as the case may be, it does not limit it also. Take 3 or 4, it means even more if the quantity still remains insufficient. But there is no bar for more quantity as restriction may be availability. अब restriction क्या है ही नहीं वहाँ पे, that is otherwise ज़्यादा लेने पे कोई नहीं है. So the DCGI guidelines which have been issued, the quantities are quite large. उस पर कोई restriction नहीं है कि वो नहीं कर सकते कि यहाँ 2, 3, 4 लिखा है तो वो 100 नहीं बोल सकते, कर सकते हैं. Guidelines are okay, there is no problem. Let us not forget that the Cosmetic Act and rules thereunder override every pharmacopoeia. ये आप याद रखिएगा. The pharmacopoeia is subservient to the Drugs and Cosmetic Act and not otherwise. Pharmacopoeia cannot dictate the act. Act can dictate the pharmacopoeia. Any standard given, act by amendment can change the value. That this will not have this limit. It will have more or less, whatever the case may be. Quantity of sample to be drawn. Guidelines have been issued by CDSO to fix quantity of drug sample, cosmetic sample and MDU samples to bring uniformity in quantity quality evaluation. These guidelines are meant for enforcement of the provisions of the Act in consonance under section 33P. Therefore, primarily it should be taken as a binding, yet it should not frustrate the purpose of the Act to keep quantity of drugs cosmetic under control. The guidelines have been given, this is the circular number what I have given at the bottom. You can, it is available on the net. If you find out whole of the letter with the annexures, that will come, but I have given a brief of the annexures, what is given in the annexure. This is the circular of the DCGI, what I have discussed, it is there, and they have given the annexures 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 is for the drugs, 2 is for the cosmetics, 3 is for the vaccines, 4 is for the biological or medical devices. There are all type of dosage form, say annexure 1, tablets, capsule, LVP, SVP, everything is given, but it cannot be accommodated in the slide. That's why I have given only one example on form 18. Third column shows the amount which must be sent to the government analyst, and fourth is for the survey sample. We are not going to discuss survey sample on this regard, but otherwise we will discuss. Annexure 2 for cosmetics. Similarly, I have given only one example. Similarly, for vaccine, I have given one example, not all of the examples. You can find it out, and it's a quite big list. Special cases. Now, whole human blood. where there is only one blood bag from one person. I told you, if you divide the sample into portions, they must be homogeneous. They should have the same quality features. I should not change while dividing into it. Now, how to divide 1 unit of whole human blood? Have you seen satellite bags? It is there. How many bags are there? 4 bags. Out of 4, how many are empty? How many are empty? Okay. You have to transfer to the empty. Empty means it does not contain any diluent. It doesn't contain any liquid. So you aseptically you can transfer approximate quantity. If it is 450 gram or 450 ml, then approximately 100, but this is a manufacturing unit, so you have to make 3. One will remain with the manufacturer, one you will send, and one for the court. But take care the date of expiry. Don't take it if the date of expiry is near, and the analyst will report you it is already expired, I cannot. So don't send such samples. So take care of number 2, you must send it through a messenger, not by any other means. Number 3, maintain the temperatures during the transit. Get a certificate from the government analyst when it was delivered, the temperature was being maintained at itne degree centigrade. So give a thermometer. If data loggers are there for the temperature, there is nothing like that. That is ideal situation. But I have not seen any department, even in Haryana, they have data loggers for this particular sampling purposes. So blood, whole human blood sample can be done according to section 23 by using satellite bags. Any questions in this?
Sir, who will test?
Hmm?
Who will test this?
Who will?
Test.
Government analyst. Who else?
No, lab,
Pardon?
CDL or
No, CDL nahi. You are drug inspector. You cannot send to CDL. If this your state government laboratory is not notified, then to the
Notified RDT.
you have to find out which. Don't send a drug to a laboratory which don't have a facility for that. You should be aware. For example, in one case, oxytocin injection was there. It was sent to the state laboratory. They returned after they opened the sample. They did pH and returned it. Whole purpose is gone. And wrote a footnote, we don't have facility for oxytocin. Why did you open it? And why the drug inspector is why drug inspector sent it? He is an officer, he should know which laboratory can test what. It is not he will first send the sample, then come to know that they don't have facility. Right? For special product, you must be fully aware what you are doing and what will be the result. Special cases, quantity of sample number 1, whole human blood, I have discussed with you. Cases, ample quantity, sample quantity, LVP, limited number of bottles.
Sir, one question.
Yes, please.
Yaba tablet.
Which tablet?
Yaba that contains methamphetamine.
Methamphetamine, all right.
Actually, this product supplying to the Bangladesh.
Okay, because this is abused.
Yeah, abused.
Yes.
So, just because these drugs are coming through this sample way, so where we have to send it for testing or analysis?
If it has come to your area, it is in your area.
Because it does not contain any label.
Unlabeled है तो और भी बढ़िया है. You have to write on form 18 what you suspect it to contain. So the analyst will test only that. Plus you can add or any other ingredient if the analyst suspects. तो वो अपने आप भी ढूंढ सकती है. लेकिन जो आपको suspicion है वो आप लिखिएगा. They will carry it out. बड़ा simple है. You write down 20 of the psychotropic substances and send sample of 20 tablets on those. By TLC they can find 20 in one tablet. Identification. Yes. TLC is such a method.
So Yes,
You
sir.
have to put reference only of the 20 tablets. Rest of the process is the same. For running the TLC, it is the same. Madam will agree. Yes.
ऐसा एक केस में मैं RDTL में भेजा था सर,
Hmm.
so they don't have any reference standard. Again they refused it. So
You see, they are not having certain things. उसका क्या इलाज है? Best is you have a telephone सरकारी. Ask them कि हम ऐसा sample, we will send this sample. Can you test it? Or to the CDS office, they will tell which laboratory can do it. Then take certain permission from your higher authority, send to that place. When the matter goes to the court, you can explain because this was not done. I have taken permission from my any deviation that must be approved by your higher authority.
this one
रैपर
actually
क्या यूज
record-
करें सर?
this one
रैपर क्या यूज करें?
Wrapper,
किस में खुला टेम्पलेट है ना?
मैं समझाने I couldn't.
actually how we will send it to the
Tablets
how
हैं?
we will divide it?
Tablet क्या है?
Tablet methamphetamine
Amphet-
yaba
किस-
tablet yaba tablet
Yeah, but they are tablets, no?
Yeah.
Are they stripped or in bulk?
bulk.
Bulk, take plastic container, 100 tablet, 100 tablet, 100 tablet, 20 tablet, 20 tablet, 20 tablet, 5 tablet, 5 tablet, 5 tablet.
Any plastic container.
Unknown sample है ना? He will have to write it is suspected to contain what. ठीक है ना? आप उस पे लेबल लगाएंगे unlabeled sample taken on such and such date, sample number this much, that's all. On form 18 again same, sample number this much, just taken on this date at such and such place, no label was there, suspected to contain psychotropic substances, strongly ये 5-7 जो भी आपको लगता है वो लिख दो. If you are sure कि एक ही है एम्फिटामिन है तो एम्फिटामिन लिख दीजिएगा और एक उनको चॉइस दीजिएगा और एनी अदर drug if they can find through analysis, because when they analyze by HPLC method there will be several peaks, so give them freedom to identify what those peaks are. Maybe that is a drug or maybe excipient, we do not know.
Actually, this one court case matter. So later on, police personnel they send it to FSL,
FSL.
forensic level.
Yes, so they also have to tell what it is. FSL is not a magician, no analyst is magician कि इसमें बताओ क्या है, nobody can tell. You have to give certain names, they will test for that. Any other question on it, please?
सर वो सलाइन बोतल तो नहीं बोले कि कैसे उसको डिवाइड करना?
आ रहा हूँ मैं बंद कहाँ किया, अभी तो चल रही है मेरा लेक्चर. मुझे जाने ना देना अगर मैं बताऊँ नहीं तो, ठीक है? केस सैंपल क्वांटिटी LVP वही है आपका पॉइंट है. लिमिटेड नंबर ऑफ बॉटल्स. फैक्ट, investigation of a complaint alleging grievous hurt, you understand, the matter will fall under section 27 small a, where the imprisonment up to life can be granted. Grievous hurt or death, same thing, due to supply of contaminated LVP bottle by a retailer to a patient under treatment in a hospital. Drug inspector inspects the batch of the LVP. Only 4 bottles were in stock. There is no problem. 4 sample portions. But again, the analysts normally say because 20 bottles were not there, therefore sterility cannot be done. This is a wrong statement. The Drug Act does not intend that you follow a method of which is followed by manufacturer. That is for the quality assurance purpose, that he must put at least 20 tablets for the first time, bottles on sterility, so that he is doubly sure, he is sure that it is sterile or not. But Act says even if there is a one single container, it must be tested, whatever test it is, if that quantity is sufficient. So in one bottle also you have to do sterility test. How? You take the 10 broth tubes, you inoculate in all the 10 tubes from the same bottle. By doing into 10 is removing error. There may be once it gets contaminated while transferring, then repeat it with the same bottle, but you have to follow a septic procedure. So even one bottle sterility test can be done. If I have made 4 portions, 1 portion sent to the government list, sterility test can also be done. Rest of the tests are very simple, glucose or ions. They can be done in 10 ml also. Not more than that quantity is required. Now, We are going to come to, there is only one bottle which is contaminated, not 4 bottles. Government analyst is bound to perform stability test as well as declare the sample to be complying with all the tests including stability or not. Any test which cannot be done within that bottle, okay, they have to give a reason and not to do it. Section 23 makes it clear that the test has to be done to declare the quality of the container of the sample portion and not the total batch produced by the manufacturer. Next I am coming to one bottle of LVP. What is the purpose of test report? Why we need test report? On form 13 or form 2. What is the function of test report? What is the function of the test report? Yeah.
Whether it is standard or not of standard.
Yeah, it does that. But suppose it is not a standard because there is one bottle and I suspect that it is not of standard quality because of some contamination or even on composition. I don't want a sample, I want a test report of that particular drug, right? And test report kaun dega? Either government analyst or CDL. Ultimately, for prosecuting a person who has done an offense by manufacturing a contaminated bottle of or bottles of a particular drug LVP and sending it for sale, I want to prosecute it. For prosecution, I need test report and nothing, otherwise not, I don't need. So, how to get a test report on the basis of which a person can be convicted if he has made this contaminated bottle? Without, I told you, without test report, he will not be convicted on this ground. There may be other grounds. So, let us go to the next slide. Only 3 bottles or 2 bottles or only 1 bottle, not 4 bottles. If 3 bottles in manufacturer unit, then there is again no question. We are talking about the say retail sale from where he has sold and complaint has come. LVP batch under complaint are found in the stock of the retailer against whom complaint has been made. The complaint is of death of a patient allegedly by attendant and doctor due to the use of the contamination bottle of the batch of the LVP supplied by the retailer. Quantity issue will be the core deciding parameter before the trial court. Drug inspector does not take a sample, case will fail. Of death, case will fail. What is the option available? Anybody who can give option. I need a test report before the court. No alternate. And test report means either form 13 or form 2. So, what is the alternate? Let us read section 23. I told you every time you will read, you will say I have read this line but not understood it. Let us again read. Section 23. चलो next slide में है बताता हूँ. Special cases, sample quantity LVP number limited, only 3 following. You seize the bottle. अगर 1 है तो भी seize कर लो, 2 है तो भी seize कर लो और 3 है तो भी seize कर लो. इस पे कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. अब मैं सीज तो कर लिया, रिपोर्ट कहाँ से लाऊंगा? Our question and discussion is report, test report. Now, under section 23 आप दूसरा प्रोविजन पढ़ेंगे तो लिखा हुआ है, under section 25, unless the sample has already been tested by CDL. एक्ट पढ़ा है आहूजा साहब के पास, आप लेके ज़रा इसमें सेक्शन 25 पढ़ें. सेक्शन 25 सेक्शन 25 का क्लॉज 23(3). जोर से प्लीज, अलाउड. माइक ऑन कर लीजिएगा.
Any document purporting to be report signed by government analyst under this chapter shall be evidence of the facts
stated therein,
and such evidence shall be
conclusive.
conclusive.
इससे ऊपर का पैरा, हाँ, will be conclusive unless
The person from whom the sample was taken.
नहीं, इसको भी छोड़ दीजिएगा, इससे ऊपर का पैरा पढ़िएगा, इससे ऊपर का पैरा 23 से ऊपर का पैरा, 25, we are reading 25.
25(2).
हाँ,
The inspector on receipt thereof shall deliver one copy of the report to the person from whom the sample was taken.
next, further,
And another copy to the person if any whose name, address and other particulars have been disclosed under section 18A and shall retain the third copy for use in any prosecution in respect of the sample.
next. इसमें पैरा है unless the sample has been tested by CDL, ये पढ़िएगा.
Section
4.
25(4).
हाँ, 25(4).
Unless the sample has already been tested or analyzed in the central drugs laboratory.
बस यहीं रोक दीजिएगा, यहीं रोक दीजिएगा, यहीं रोक, इसको फिर दोबारा से पढ़िएगा. Unless
the sample has already been tested.
हाँ, बस यहीं पे रोक लीजिएगा. वो कौन सी सिचुएशन है कि अभी फॉर्म 13 नहीं बना और ये पहले से सीडीएल से टेस्ट हो गया? व्हाट इज दैट सिचुएशन?
सैंपल कम हो तब
नहीं, कम और ज्यादा का तो यहाँ कुछ लिखा ही नहीं है इसमें.
when signed by government analyst.
हम्म,
When signed by government analyst.
आप माइक ले लें, सबको सुनाई दे. माइक है ना?
When we send in form 17, it will be signed in form 13. And
नो,
when
दैट्स राइट. अभी तो शुरू नहीं हुआ, इसमें फॉर्म 13 है ही नहीं. अभी फॉर्म 13 है ही नहीं. द वर्ड इज अनलेस द सैंपल हैज ऑलरेडी मीन्स बिफोर 13 हैज कम, हैज ऑलरेडी बीन टेस्टेड बाय सीडीएल. अगर पहले से सीडीएल ने टेस्ट नहीं किया तो उसके बाद है कि 13 को वो करता कि नहीं करता. वो कौन सी सिचुएशन है जब सीडीएल से में पहले से ही टेस्ट हो गया? अभी तो टेस्ट रिपोर्ट आई है ना ड्रग इंस्पेक्टर के पास. वो सिचुएशन ही नहीं है. दिस मैं बताता हूँ, इट विल एनलार्ज द डिस्कशन. कोर्ट हैज ए पावर एट एनी स्टेज ऑफ प्रोसिक्यूशन टू सेंड ए मटेरियल विच इज ए ड्रग फॉर टेस्टिंग टू सीडीएल to determine any issue, and the issue normally testing is for the quality or safety or efficacy. कहाँ पर है? जब हम एक तो कब भेजता है? जब किसी ने चैलेंज कर दिया, then we move the application and magistrate sends to the CDL. दूसरी ये है कि suppose the drug have been seized, produced before the court, and the issue comes of quality. Now the drug inspector had not taken sample of that, only seized the drug. Now their issue comes whether these drugs were of quality or not. So magistrate can, because of the provision of this, he can send drug sample out of that. अब drug inspector नहीं भेज सकता. Now it is in the custody of the court. Court can send that sample direct to the CDL and get test report on form 2. अब कहाँ है क्वांटिटी का सवाल? कोई सवाल नहीं है. वो जितनी भी क्वांटिटी चाहे भेज सकता है. 1 बोतल, 10 बोतल, 20 बोतल. हमें दी 1 बोतल है, सीज्ड मटेरियल इज ओनली 1 बोतल. ही विल सेंड. हमें चाहिए क्या? ही विल राइट डाउन ओपिनियन वेदर इट इज स्टेराइल और नॉट, टॉक्सिक और नॉट, वॉट एवर इट इज. एंड यस,
सीधा मतलब हुआ कि
sample it has a power to send sample portion without existence of form 13, without existence of drug inspector, without existence of form 17. कुछ नहीं चाहिए उनको. ठीक है? This part is clear? This part is clear? Magistrate has a power. So now अब है कि magistrate को कौन देगा, कब देगा? सीज किसने किया? Drug inspector. Now, what the drug inspector has to do, he has seized the bottle, keeping in view the expiry date of that particular drug. He should conduct all other inquiries other than on quality issues. complete his make a fit case. If the things are visible, he can still say it contains extraneous material, and file a complaint with request that this drug shows extraneous material or does not show, or there is a complaint made by that there is a death by this batch, so this sample may kindly be sent to the CDR. लेकिन कंप्लेंट लॉन्च करनी पड़ेगी विदाउट नॉट विदाउट कंप्लेंट. ओके, अब कंप्लेंट लॉन्च कर आज मैंने डाली या हाँ बताइए.
Repeat it again.
हाँ, वहां तक क्लियर है कि दी मजिस्ट्रेट हैज अ पावर टू सेंड. ओके, नाउ हुआ क्या, देयर वाज ए कंप्लेंट, ड्रग इंस्पेक्टर हैज सीज्ड वन बॉटल which is suspected to be the cause of the death, and we need a test report for that. So the drug inspector should complete his inquiry with 18A, anything else except for the test report, because test report is non-existent. After completing his inquiry, take permission from the controlling authority and file a complaint and move an application कि this is the situation, that it is suspected that the death was due to this drug and it has been seized and produced before you. अब वो produce करेगा, तभी कर देगा, and it has to be sent to the CDR.
और इसको सीज कैसे करा अगर लाइसेंस प्रीमिसेस है तो?
कहीं से भी कर सकता है, सीजर इज नो प्रॉब्लम, घर से कर सकता है. हाँ, नो अनरिस्ट्रिक्टेड, सीजर कैन बी मेड फ्रॉम एनी प्लेस.
लाइसेंस प्रीमिसेस.
Yeah, yes, why not? If any offense is suspected, he can seize. And if you have complaint, this is more than enough ground for the सीजर में कोई रिस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं है. आप देखिएगा सीजर का प्रोविजन और सीजर का मेमो, देयर इज नो रिक्वायरमेंट दैट देयर शुड बी समथिंग डन. इवन आई सीज द ड्रग फ्रॉम ए शॉप, आई फाइंड नो ऑफेंस वाज कमिटेड. By taking permission from the court, I can return it. There is a provision in section 22.
So then we have to seize from the person from whom we received this drug. Suppose in the case of the
From
government sample-
where it was found stocked.
No, I am talking if any government sample. Suppose most of the LBPs are now using
In government hospital, you have seized it, yes. हाँ,
Then who will be the accused in this case?
वो बाद में करते हैं, मिक्सअप हो जाएगा. अभी आते हैं इस क्वेश्चन को मैं रखता हूँ, बाद में करते हैं. लेट अस डिस्कस द फर्स्ट वन. First is I have seized a bottle. I have moved a complaint. Moved a complaint means complaint filed against the manufacturer or dealer, whatever I feel fit, or everybody, before the court. But the sample is in seized form. I produce to the court, and along with my complaint, legal complaint, I move an application. Let this sample be seized drug be sent to the CDL on form 1. इसमें दस्तखत नहीं चाहिए किसी के भी सिवाय मजिस्ट्रेट के. राइट, फॉर्म 13 का कोई रेफरेंस नहीं चाहिए. देयर इज नो प्री कंडीशन दैट इट मस्ट हैव बीन टेस्टेड बाय द गवर्नमेंट एनालिस्ट. बट what I am telling is for the success of the case, as soon as you file the complaint, produce the drug seized and move the application, inform the accused that such has been filed in such and such case where it is contemplated to send the sample portion to the CDL. बस इंफॉर्मेशन देनी है. टेस्ट रिपोर्ट है नहीं आपके पास, इंफॉर्मेशन देनी है. कोर्ट क्या करेगी, दे विल इशू समन्स. बट इफ एक्सपायरी डेट इज नियर, सो आस्क फॉर ए वेरी शॉर्ट डेट समन्स, जो हो सकता है पहुंचे भी, डिलीवर ना भी हो, या वो रिफ्यूज कर दे लेने से. बट यू शुड सेंड ए रजिस्टर्ड पोस्ट for information, and then on the date fixed, the court will send to the CDL. You will get test report. If it comes, say, contaminated or something, then while framing charges, this test report will be considered and those charges will be included. Or the court will say, amend your complaint. Now you have a test report, although you have not taken a sample, and your case must succeed. Any questions? टाइम
4:30 तक है सर.
4:30.
अच्छा जी, खत्म कर रहे हैं.
खत्म करना है अभी तो एक स्लाइड तो एक अच्छा अभी कितना हो गया 4:30 हो गया ओके आई 4:10 ओके आई विल बी एबल टू डू ये क्रिटिकल था इट हैज बीन डिस्कस्ड इम्पोर्टेंट ओके वी मूव फर्दर section 25 I have discussed already can be sent by magistrate I have discussed already this presentation I think hope madam will let it be supplied to everybody you read it carefully but keep your act open read every line again and again you will get the gist quantity of sample less than optimum I have discussed you see government and as a government analyst suppose less quantity has been sent I put one question also and tell something also suppose normally a tablet how many tablets you require for assay how many tablets no what the pharmacopoeia says 20 tablets 20 tablets will be crushed then equivalent weight will be taken for assay in the same crushed powder you can do identification test in the same powder you can do impurity test right see second schedule for IP drugs it requires only 3 tests read second schedule carefully now the drug inspector did not get 20 tablets also he got less than 20 say 15 tablets in your portion I am not talking about the total quantity in your portion you receive 15 tablets you do an assay the value comes suppose the lower limit required was 90% suppose hypothetically and your value comes 89.8% so will you fail it on assay or not no this will not fail 90 was the lower limit it has come 89.8 but the tablets were 15 does it fail or pass tablets were 15 for assay yes it will why you have to give reason no? Why pass when they say the lower limit is 90% how can you pass but I am saying it is pass it passes आप बताइए आप कैसे कहेंगे पास है you see IP in general requirements they have given a table if the quantity received is less of tablets only if the 20 tablets is there then the same limits which is given in the pharmacopoeia or schedule B I presume it was 90 okay if it is 15 then there is a given 0.5% will be subtracted from the lower limit then the lower limit will become 89.5 it is given in pharmacopoeia if the tablets are 10 further 0.25 will be subtracted from the lower limit and if the tablets are 5 less than 5 no assay should be done assay identification you can do impurity you can do assay cannot be done this factor is not applied by any of them I don't say you apply we should know it there is a provision in IP in every Indian IP edition it was there it is still there so while making test reports we should be very comprehensive the provisions of pharmacopoeia and act both right yes there was a case where only one tablet was available and it was information that this is spurious then it is case of Haryana one tablet was divided into 4 portions and identification test was requested it was found nil not answering negative prosecution conviction these are the special situations but procedure you have to follow if you don't follow procedure whatever explanation you gave it is not maintainable. So, quantities in most of the cases are not the restricting factor. If there are enough, follow the DCGI guideline and do it. It is also official guideline. Form 17 you have seen used, Form 17 everybody has used Form 17, no problem. I will not go much, but where I have highlighted, see the signature kiski hone chahiye, intimated person, there is no place. Form 17, 15, 16, 17A, there is no place कि जिससे आप सैंपल लेंगे उसके साइन करवाएंगे. You, if he refuses to sign, you cannot, obstruction of duty का केस नहीं बनता है, because law does not want legally him to sign, but he wants, he is willing to do, he can do. So we, whatever we get his signature, it's voluntary. 17A, nothing much to tell about it. These are the forms I told you for cosmetics. All forms are there. It is in your book also. So it is there is no necessity of sealing. आप इसको पढ़ लेना. It is simply कि भाई बढ़िया seal कैसे लगाते हैं, seal कैसी होनी चाहिए. Because I want to go to the next presentation also, metal seal of the DCO for samples. Mark को मिसयूज करते हैं. आपके टेस्ट रिपोर्ट में भी मैं कुछ डिस्कस करना चाहूँगा मैडम से. Mark means the sample number. Sample number must be written every time in prosecution also, in Form 17 also, in your sample register also, in the test report also. Many of the government analysts, they are not writing the sample number instead of the mark, they are writing number of samples, 3 bottles, 2 bottles. No, that is not the right. I have seen several test reports. We should understand the purpose of 1 to 6 what is given in test reports. Mention details in inspection reports, statutory requirement under section 23. It is all from the act. If you read along with that, you will be able to. सेफ कस्टडी घर में वहाँ अपने ऑफिस में संभाल के रखिएगा. अंडर सेफ कस्टडी सैंपल गवर्नमेंट नोटिफाइड. कौन टेस्ट करेगा? ड्रग सैंपल गवर्नमेंट लिस्ट नोटिफाइड अंडर सेक्शन 20. कॉस्मेटिक गवर्नमेंट लिस्ट अंडर सेक्शन 20. गवर्नमेंट एनालिस्ट नोटिफाइड अंडर सेक्शन 20 ऑफ मेडिकल डिवाइसेस. इट इज कॉल्ड मेडिकल डिवाइसेस टेस्टिंग ऑफिसर. यहाँ लिखा हुआ मैंने, मेडिकल डिवाइसेस टेस्टिंग ऑफिसर अंडर रूल 18(2) ऑफ द मेडिकल डिवाइसेस रूल 17. Form 13, these are test reports, you know the. इसमें आप ये देखिएगा, नंबर 3 को देख लेना और नंबर 1 को. कई अपना they don't write their actual name, the actual name of the drug inspector. They write DCO Agartala. No, it is not by designation. It should be. Why? Because the person has been notified by name. Any notification by post is not permissible. It is by name of the drug inspector, of the government analyst, both. Licensing authority also. These are the forms of cosmetics, medical devices. It is important, some things I have written for the contents in the Form 13. If you go through, this will be very useful. Form 13, marking out of the controversial, para read, para opinion. Interface out of the what a government analyst can report. इसको देख लीजिएगा. Nothing new but important. Offenses to be framed कैसे करने हैं, इसको यूज कैसे करना है. This is very big evidence before the court if you produce this Form 13 or Form 2, both. But they must be issued by complying with the requirements of the act. जो पैरा में जो लिखे हैं वो चीज़ें होंगी. Original test reports we have discussed. Exhibition of as evidence. Let us discuss who is to exhibit test report. बड़ा important है. This is very important. I will request Dr. Saab your attention, something very important. Admissibility of the test report. You read the provision under CR, PCR, BNSS, how it is admitted and proven. Suppose I have issued a notice, or suppose I have made any spot memo, it is an original produced in the complaint case file. Though spot memo has been prepared by me, I will have to give evidence when I am appearing as a PW that on such and such stage, because of this all details, I prepared this spot memo which is exhibit XYZ whatever you want. Right? Am I right? Isn't it? But what about test report? Drug inspector has not prepared the test report. How can he exhibit? उस पर जिसके साइन है इंस्पेक्टर हैज नेवर मेट, ही हैज नेवर वर्कड अंडर हर। किसके दस्तखत है मुझे क्या पता, नाम लिखा है, हाउ टू एडमिट इट, बताइए। सेक्शन 293 ऑफ द CRPC एंड इक्वलेंट है 329 ऑफ BNSS, it allows certain documents to be exhibited, ना to be admissible। लेकिन प्रूव कौन करेगा, प्रूव एनालिस्ट ही करेगा। अगर डिफेंस मांगता है तो, डिफेंस नहीं मांगता तो कोर्ट कैन प्रिज्यूम इट इज प्रूव्ड। ठीक है, थैंक यू वेरी मच। सेकंड हाँ, या प्लीज। हाँ,
Recently that DCCI issued one letter regarding sending of portion of sample after disclosure of name in form section 18A. So they DCCI said must one portion have to send to the manufacturer.
ये तो है ही, यस, दिस इज द लॉ।
18A में डिस्क्लोज किया तो
किसी का नाम नहीं, आप हेडिंग तो पढ़ो, आप खोल लीजिएगा, ड्रग एक्ट खोल लीजिएगा, रीड द हेडिंग ऑफ 18A, रीड द हेडिंग ऑफ 18A फर्स्ट प्लीज, देन आई कम टू आंसर योर क्वेश्चन। अलाउड
18A,
ओनली हेडिंग 18 कैपिटल A।
disclosure of the name of the manufacturer, etc.
हाँ, बस रुक जाओ यहीं पे, किसका डिस्क्लोजर करना है, फिर ये सेक्शन मैन्युफैक्चरर का नाम ढूंढने के लिए है, सैंपल उसी को जाएगा।
वो तो डिस्क्लोज नहीं किया सर, वो तो बोला है किसी से लिया है, होलसेलर से लिया है।
पार्टी 1 से लिया, उसने डिस्क्लोजर दे दिया पार्टी 2, यही कह रहे हो, आपने उठा के सैंपल दे दिया पार्टी 2 को, क्यों?
क्योंकि वो डिस्क्लोज किया 18A में,
उसने मैन्युफैक्चरर का नाम डिस्क्लोज किया है क्या?
एटसेट्रा तो है दिया हुआ।
एसेट्रा दिया हुआ है ना।
क्या एटसेट्रा भी आता हूं मैं, अभी करता हूं एक्सप्लेन। पहले ये बताओ, जो उसने पार्टी 1 ने मैन्युफैक्चरर का नाम दिया है क्या? फिर क्यों दिया उसको सैंपल? यह है ही मैन्युफैक्चरर के लिए। ETC मीन्स और एनी पर्सन हैविंग सिमिलर एक्टिविटी टू मैन्युफैक्चरर। हम कहते हैं कि फॉलोइंग एजुकेशनल ऑफिसर्स विल बी प्रमोटेड, प्रोफेसर्स, एसोसिएट प्रोफेसर्स, लेक्चरर एटसेट्रा। इट मीन इनकी कैटेगरी सेम होना चाहिए एटसेट्रा में, टीचर्स और वॉट एवर एन अदर नेम, दे ऑल विल बी इन टीचिंग ओनली। तो एटसेट्रा मीन्स हैविंग सिमिलर फंक्शनैलिटी बट नॉट डिफाइंड एनीवेयर। फंक्शनैलिटी सेम होनी चाहिए। ही मस्ट बी एंगेज्ड इन, फॉर एग्जाम्पल प्रिंटर है, वन प्रिंटर इन अगरतला इज प्रिंटिंग दी लेबल ऑफ अ मैन्युफैक्चरर सिटिंग इन दिल्ली, वो दवाई वहाँ बन रही है, यहाँ से प्रिंटर अपना प्रिंट करके एक मैन्युफैक्चरर यहाँ उसको देता है, वो उसमें लगा के बेचता है। ये आ गया ना उसमें, टू मैन्युफैक्चर की डेफिनेशन में आ गया। ही विल बी एक्यूज्ड इन द सेम मैनर एज दैट वन।
अगर मैं मार्केटेड बाय में से भेज दिया तो
क्या चीज?
मार्केटेड बाय होता है ना,
हाँ,
उनको भेज दिया तो
किसको भेज दिया?
सैंपल
सैंपल जिसको भी भेज दिया, जिस पे जो ये मैन्युफैक्चरर की डेफिनेशन में आ गया, ETC में आ गया, ठीक है। नो आगे उसका क्या ऑफेंस बनता है वो आपने देखना फर्दर। अगर मैन्युफैक्चरर विदाउट लाइसेंस का केस बनता है तो प्रिंटर विल ऑल्सो बी वन ऑफ द एक्यूज्ड इन दैट।
एक्सेप्ट में
मार्केटेड बाय का अलग से प्रोविजन है, रूल 51, फॉर्म 51, वो अलग है, वो आप उसके हिसाब से करेंगे। अगर स्पूरियस है मीन्स किसी और की दवाई यहाँ बन रही है तो उसमें क्या मार्केटेड बाय, सारे आ जाएंगे ना बीच में, सब आ जाएंगे। जो ऑफेंस उसके बनते हैं वो इसके बन जाएंगे।
तो सर इसमें क्या कौन सी सेक्शन में चिट्ठी दे रहे हैं? अगर चेंज में कोई किसी ने किया,
हाँ,
मान लीजिए रिटेलर से कोई एक होलसेलर,
हाँ,
उससे कोई एक होलसेलर,
आप सबको देते चलो ना, बीच में 9 है होलसेलर, पहला रिटेलर है, ओके। फर्स्ट को दें, उसने डिस्क्लोज कर दिया सेकंड को ओरिजिनल टेस्ट रिपोर्ट नहीं देनी, सैंपल पोर्शन नहीं देना।
ना ठीक है सर, कौन सा सेक्शन लगाए तो उसको 18B लगाए।
18B तो जिसने जहाँ पे ऑफेंस सस्पेक्टेड है 18B को भी ध्यान से पढ़ें, दैट इज उसमें आप वो ही रिकॉर्ड मांग सकते हैं जो एक्ट में दे रखे हैं, ही इज रिक्वायर्ड टू मेंटेन।
तो उसमें तो परचेज मांग रहा है।
पार्डन?
ये तो हम लोग परचेज ही मांग रहे हैं ना।
नहीं, वो आप पे डिपेंड करता है क्या मांग रहे हैं आप, एंड इन्फॉर्मेशन भी है, डॉक्यूमेंट्स एंड इन्फॉर्मेशन।
आपने किससे खरीदा है?
खरीदा है, कुछ और भी हो सकता है, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन केस। जो भी उससे रिलेटेड है वो इन्फॉर्मेशन देने में वो बाउंड है, लेकिन आप ऐसा रिकॉर्ड नहीं मांग सकते जो कि उसमें कवर्ड नहीं है।
अब मान लीजिए कोई किसी सैंपल लिया तो आपने कहाँ से खरीदा है तो वो तो
हाँ, वो तो 18A में आ गया,
उसमें तो 18A
खरीदा नहीं है उसमें, वर्ड आप ध्यान से देखो, एक्वायर्ड है, फ्रॉम whom you acquired। उसमें चाहे परचेज बिल हो या ना हो, उसने परचेज किया या ना किया, वो डीलर है कि नहीं है, उसकी पोजीशन में था, कॉन्शियस पोजीशन था।
तो ये मैन्युफैक्चरर डिटेल 18A में है बोल के उसको पूछने के टाइम में 18B ही देना है।
नहीं, आप 18A नहीं दोगे तो कैसे पहुंचोगे? 18A तो देना है, वो बताएगा दूसरे डीलर का, फिर दूसरे को देना है, वो तीसरे डीलर का बताएगा, टिल लास्ट वाला बताएगा कि इस मैन्युफैक्चरर से लिया।
तब उसमें क्या दोनों लगाना है, 18A 18B दोनों लगाना है?
18A 18B किसी भी लाइसेंस्ड पर्सन को लग सकता है,
अच्छा ठीक है।
और 18A किसी भी पर्सन को लग सकता है, चाहे लाइसेंस हो या ना, राइट?
अगर इन्वेस्टिगेशन में अगर इट विल टेक
लॉन्ग टाइम यू टेक, इन्वेस्टिगेशन डज नॉट टेक एनी टाइम,
सर, अगर
यू कैन टेक लॉन्ग टाइम।
सर ड्रग एक्सपायर हो गया, क्या करें उस टाइम?
आपको बताना पड़ेगा क्यों हो गया एक्सपायर, यू वांट टू रिटेन योर जॉब,
क्योंकि रिटेलर टू होलसेलर देन इट विल टेक।
you have to retain job, you must do whatever is possible, don't do impossible। अगर आज आया है टेस्ट रिपोर्ट, कल एक्सपायर हो गया, आप क्या कर सकते हो? रिपोर्ट टू योर ड्रग कंट्रोलर, और क्या कर सकते
सर इसका तो सीधा सीधा यही मतलब 18A आया है मतलब किसी का नहीं, मुझे मैन्युफैक्चरर का ही नाम।
हो? यस, हेडिंग में साफ साफ लिखा हुआ है, साफ साफ।
पोर्शन ऑफ द सैंपल मैन्युफैक्चरर के पास ही जाएगा।
यस, एक पोर्शन जिससे आपने लिया, एक पोर्शन जो मैन्युफैक्चरर डिस्क्लोज होता है, ना कि लेबल्ड है, डिस्क्लोज होता है, ठीक है। एक पोर्शन गवर्नमेंट एनालिस्ट को और एक पोर्शन कोर्ट।
अच्छा सर, जैसे कि एक्यूज ने बताया कि मैं ABC कंपनी से लिया,
हाँ,
तो मैंने ABC कंपनी को भेज दिया,
नोटिस दिया, भेज दिया नहीं, नोटिस दिया,
नोटिस दिया, तो ABC बोल रहे कि नहीं ये मेरा नहीं है, मुझे पता
उसको उसके जवाब का रिप्लाई का वेट करने की जरूरत नहीं है, वो जो मर्जी कहे, आपकी ड्यूटी है सिर्फ भेजना।
जिसका नाम डिस्क्लोज हो गया उसको भेज
डिस्क्लोज का मतलब मैन्युफैक्चरर,
मैन्युफैक्चरर।
जिस मैन्युफैक्चरर का वो जो मर्जी कहता रहे, जो मर्जी प्रूफ दे कोर्ट में देगा, आपके सामने कुछ नहीं, जो मर्जी कहता रहे,
नाम है, उसका नाम आया है तो उसको मैं भेज दूँ।
उसको भेज दीजिएगा, उसका एक्सप्लेनेशन नहीं मांगने का, उसको बताओ ये टेस्ट रिपोर्ट भेजी जा रही है, ये सैंपल भेजा जा रहा है, ये मुझे रिकॉर्ड चाहिए, दे दो, और ये नोटिस दे दो, व्हाई एन एक्शन अंडर दी सेक्शन बी नॉट टेकन इन कोर्ट ऑफ लॉ, ये बताना जरूरी है। वो जो मर्जी कहता रहे, जब आपके पास टेस्ट रिपोर्ट है, अब आपने उससे क्या पूछना? वो दे जवाब तो भी कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, ना दे जवाब तो सिर्फ ये, अगर वो चैलेंज करता है तब भी कंप्लेंट डालो, फिर भिजवाओ। इसमें कोई प्रोविजन नहीं है कि विदाउट फाइलिंग कंप्लेंट यू कैन सेंड द सैंपल टू CDL, इसमें कोई प्रोविजन नहीं है।
Sir, one question. You
जी।
have said, sir, actually, whenever we will go for taking the sample, actually, inspector has power, and because you have already told that if the drug has been stocked, overloaded, then the wire portion, there is a huge chances for the not of standard. And also, we got lot of cases where the drug has been stocked in such area, suppose direct heat, or in a refrigerator where the refrigerator is not switched on for a long time. So this is, there is a chance for not of standard of drugs only for the storage condition.
Only because of storage with the dealer.
But
Yeah.
actually, if our intention is that to sort out the drugs from the more chances is there for not of standard.
No,
Then ultimately,
there is no question of chances. Let us remove the word chance. Huh?
Yes.
It is because of that. Huh?
because of, but this is because only for the improper storage condition.
Yes.
Actually, this is not, we can assume that this is not liabilities goes to the manufacturer.
It does not go.
Yeah, then when we will take the sample and it will become not of standard, whether we have the power to launch the prosecution against the manufacturer by proper wire or the person who stock the drug.
I answer your question. मैं समझ गया. You mean to say the act of dealer has made the drug not of standard quality, whereas manufacturer had manufactured standard quality drug. ये कह रहे हैं, ठीक है ना? During inspection, you have written down all the observations which you think are responsible for the not of standard quality drug, although it is sealed. What storage condition, high temperature, humidity, or LVP storage, or any other conditions. This man who is a dealer is the responsible person, not the manufacturer. So be honest. File the complaint against the dealer. Now, आपको सैंपल तब भी भेजना है. क्यों? कोर्ट कैन इम्प्लीड मैन्युफैक्चरर. कोर्ट को पावर है, वो उसको बना देंगे, फिर वो डिफेंस नहीं ले सकता ना. मुझे तो पता ना था, मेरी तो दवाई ना थी. प्रोसिक्यूशन आपने सबको दिया नोटिस. अब आपकी मर्जी है किसके अगेंस्ट प्रोसिक्यूशन डालना है, किसके नहीं डालना. मर्जी का मतलब है you know which evidences are against whom, and when you take permission you have to explain everything to your boss, then he gives you permission.
Because sir, by test report anybody can prove that by officially that it is not of standard. But
वो हो गया, वो तो एविडेंस है नॉट ऑफ स्टैंडर्ड.
we can collect the evidence before the court.
आपने करना है ना, आपने जो you see when no offense has been detected and you write down everything. अब बाद में तो आप इसे मैनिपुलेट नहीं कर सकते ना. अभी तो टेस्ट रिपोर्ट आई नहीं है. टेस्ट रिपोर्ट आने के बाद अगर कुछ करेंगे तो दैट इज ए collusion on your part. So whatever you see, always write that. Don't get affected. Take samples, send. When every evidence has been done, then decide who should be prosecuted. And write down the roles. What are the roles? We should be honest. अगर मैन्युफैक्चरर का वो नहीं है प्रॉब्लम है, डीलर का है. ओनली डीलर शुड सफर एज पर अवर कंप्लेंट. कोर्ट अगर उसे इम्प्लीड कर लेती है, वी कांट स्टॉप द कोर्ट.
In the same case, sir, in the case of LBP, sir.
Yes.
Actually, whenever physically we observe there is some foreign particle or some like crystal, we have seen lot of LBP.
हाँ, इसमें ज़रा लोड करना मैं डिस्कस कर रहा हूँ. इसमें नेक्स्ट स्लाइड.
सर
Next
मैंने मैनिटोल पे एक बॉटल देखा, उसमें लंबा लंबा क्रिस्टल दिखाई दे.
Crystal अभी.
हाँ
स्पेशली उसमें देखा.
हाँ
हम लोग ये सर भेजना का और ऐसे तो लेवल it has been mentioned in the level that if any foreign particle or anything
Is that foreign particle? That crystal is a foreign particle? Whether that crystal in mannitol 20% 100 ml bottle, is it a foreign particle?
if crystal it is then in case of
आप उसका लेबल पढ़ा है? उसके लेबल में लिखा हुआ है in winters it may crystallize, but crystal dissolve on warm. इसका कोई इलाज नहीं है. तो उन्होंने पहले वार्न. If you warn for something, then it is not your offense. बिजली के खंभे पे लिखा होता है ना डेंजर.
ये ऐसे बोल रहा
अब भी जाके तार पकड़ो, फिर आप कंपनसेशन मांगोगे. नॉट मेंटेन.
Sir, last question. How to go for sampling of misbranded?
मिस ब्रांडेड. अच्छा,
Sir,
इसको कर रहे
sir,
हैं.
actually हम लोग का time भी खत्म हो
मैं कह रहा
Actually बहुत interesting है, interactive है.
5 minutes for that.
Sir, we
अब बताओ मिस ब्रांडेड चाहिए होती है?
कैसे करना है?
नहीं करना चाहिए. अरे पढ़ लो, जो ऑफेंस आपको पता लग गया उसका लेवल गलत है,
हाँ.
इसमें क्या सैम्पलिंग करनी है?
सर जो मिस ब्रांडेड है उसमें वो तो स्पूरियस भी हो सकता है. देयर इज ए प्राइमरी
Now,
चांसेस ऑफ
second point. Now you are raising the second point. If you know this is only misbranding, there is no question. आप इनसे पूछोगे कि इसका लेबल ठीक लिखा है कि नहीं लिखा, जो आप पढ़ सकते हो. ये तो क्वालिटी
Sir,
इशू है, ये तो कंटेंट के लिए.
Sir,
हम लोग को लेकर देना पड़ता है.
आप गृहता से लिख देते हो, ना लिखो तो भी आपका कोई फॉल्ट
Sir,
नहीं.
बिना 13 के misbranded सब बहुत एक्चुअली 2 दिन में हो चाहिए ये.
कोई बात नहीं है. अभी आज का How much time you give me? How much time you give me? How much time you give me?
Sir,
टाइम बताइएगा. अभी 16:32 हुए हैं.
टाइम मैनेजर सर.
हैं?
हो गया मतलब
हाँ नहीं नहीं, अब बताओ कितना, ये तो मैं करूंगा, टाइम बताओ कितना है. So I declare, give me 10 minutes, okay? Fine? ये प्रेजेंटेशन है हाउ टू ड्राफ्ट कंप्लेंट. इफ यू डू दिस, आपकी आगे की प्रोसिक्यूशन प्रॉब्लम्स आर ओवर. You will be easily to do. I will go through this.
सर कुछ भी और एक क्वेश्चन, अगर गवर्नमेंट स्टोर में स्टोरेज के वजह से नॉट ऑफ स्टैंडर्ड आया तो किसको प्रोसिक्यूट करें?
हाँ, आपने क्वेश्चन पूछा था, इट इज ड्यू टू बी आंसर्ड. जो एक्ट है इसमें प्रोविजन है कि गवर्नमेंट का हो, कोई भी हो, आप कर सकते हो. किसको करोगे? फार्मासिस्ट को, सीएमओ को, या डायरेक्टर जनरल हेल्थ सर्विसेज को?
स्टोर इंचार्ज
उसमें लिखा है हेड ऑफ द डिपार्टमेंट. फार्मासिस्ट इज नॉट हेड ऑफ द डिपार्टमेंट. हाँ, यस, इट इज गिवन इन दैट. खोल लो अभी, दिखा दो, मैं दिखा देता हूँ. कौन सा इसमें सेक्शन है, दे रखा है उसमें, साफ लिखा हुआ है. हाँ नहीं कर, अब मैं आता हूँ दूसरे पार्ट में. इट विल नॉट बी वाइज कि आप इनको करें. तो एनीवेयर इन हरियाणा और एनीवेयर जो गवर्नमेंट ऑफिसेज हैं उनको नहीं किया जाता, ठीक है ना. अब ये अगर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट गवर्नमेंट की है तो फिर वो किस पे डाल देते हैं? प्लांट इंचार्ज पे. कोई करता नहीं है, पर इसमें प्रोविजन है, अगर कोई जरूरी पड़ जाए तो कर सकते हो. बट आपके बॉस नहीं देंगे परमिशन कि आप डीजी के अगेंस्ट जो है आप डालेंगे. देंगे परमिशन?
सिचुएशन वर्स्ट है तो कर सकते हैं.
हाँ, ये कोर्ट इसलिए नहीं वो आपकी कंप्लेंट को रिजेक्ट कर सकती कि तुमने डीजी को कैसे कर दिया, बिकॉज देयर इज अ प्रोविजन यू हैव टू मेंशन.
Sir, our problem is we have to collect sample from government stores, each and every batches.
हाँ, अगर वो नॉट ऑफ स्टैंडर्ड आते हैं तो उसको मैन्युफैक्चरर को कर दो ना, बिकॉज मैन्युफैक्चरर इज सप्लाइंग डायरेक्टली. सिर्फ मैन्युफैक्चरर को कर दीजिए. वो डिफेंस में जो मर्जी पूछते रहें. यू सी, वन एक्यूज्ड हैज नो राइट टू से कि उसे एक्यूज क्यों नहीं बनाया. देयर इज नो लीगल स्टैंड. ही कैन पुट डिफेंस फॉर हिमसेल्फ. ही कैन नॉट एक्यूज अनदर पर्सन कि उसको भी बनाओ तो मैं आऊँगा कोर्ट, है ना. ठीक है, मैं इसे करूँ. ओके. ड्राफ्टिंग जो दिखने में सिंपल लगती है, बट इफ़ यू पुट सम माइंड तो आपको लगेगा कि इट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एंड प्रॉपर तरीके से करना चाहिए. इसेंशियल्स इसमें दिए हैं, ये आपको मिल जाएगी पीपीटी, है ना. हाँ, सब मिल जाएगी, पर मैं ये कहूँगा इसकी एक हर स्लाइड बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. क्रिमिनल प्रोसीजर कोड इसका दे रखा है कि इसमें क्या पावर है. अब BNSS से मैंने रिप्लेस नहीं किया क्योंकि पुराने ही अभी बोलते हैं. आप इसको जब भी CRPC की बात करो तो C इक्विवेलेंट इन BNSS. डेफिनेशन ऑफ कंप्लेंट इसको हम छोड़ देते हैं. एलिगेशंस हैं, ये दिया हुआ आगे इन CRPC में दिया हुआ है कंप्लेंट किसे कहते हैं. पुलिस रिपोर्ट, आपके जो केस होते हैं वो कंप्लेंट केस हैं, दे आर नॉट ऑन दी कंप्लेंट ऑफ पुलिस. कभी भी जाके FIR दर्ज मत करवाओ. डू एवरीथिंग योरसेल्फ. सीज करना है आप कीजिएगा, अरेस्ट करना है आप कीजिएगा. यस, अरेस्ट करना है आप कीजिएगा. टेक हेल्प ऑफ पुलिस. कंप्लेंट वर्सेस जो सूचना देता है उसे इन्फॉर्मेंट बोलते हैं, लेकिन पुलिस भी उसको भी कंप्लेनेंट लिख देती है और बाकी भी कर देती हैं. एक्ट में वो CRPC में दे रखा है, जो इन्फॉर्मेशन देता है वो इन्फॉर्मेंट है. हमारे पे कोई ज़्यादा इसका कोई असर नहीं है, ना हम ये वर्ड यूज़ करते हैं. प्री रिक्विजिट्स यू नो कि कंप्लेंट बनाने से पहले आपको क्या क्या चाहिए. इंस्पेक्टर डालेगा कंप्लेंट, यू नो वेरी वेल. 32 में दे रखा है कौन कौन सी डाली जा सकते हैं. कोर्ट ऑफ ज्यूरिसडिक्शन, अब मैं बड़ी सिंपल लैंग्वेज बताता हूँ. ऑल केसेस spurious and adulterated cases where death is likely to occur or drug is capable of doing that, or grave assault, वो जाएंगे 36AB में. That will be tried by the court of session. Rest of all cases where spurious and adulterated word falling under 27A नहीं है, वो सारे जाएंगे मजिस्ट्रेट को. ठीक, इसमें कोई कंफ्यूजन हो. एक अथॉरिटी है RA केमिकल्स वर्सेस स्टेट ऑफ तेलंगाना 2018. उसे पढ़ लेंगे तो बड़ा क्लियर हो जाएगा। 36AB ये स्पेशल कोर्ट है विच इज़ सेशंस कोर्ट, इसको भी ये एक्ट में से है, कोई नई बात नहीं है इसके अंदर। ऑफेंसेस नॉट कवर्ड बाय, ऑफेंसेस विच आर नॉट रिलेटेड टू अडल्टेटेड और स्पूरियस ड्रग्स, ऑफेंसेस नॉट पनिशेबल अंडर 27A एंड 27C। बाकी सब कहाँ चले जाएंगे? मजिस्ट्रेट के पास चले जाएंगे। कंपिटेंट यही बात है जो अभी बताई है। फॉर ट्रायल ऑफेंसेस समरी तो करवाए ना करो, समरी ट्रायल 3 तक की भी है, आप उनको एप्लीकेशन दे दो, दी ऑफेंसेस आर सीरियस मे बी ट्राइड बाय वे ऑफ वारंट ट्रायल, तो वो स्पेसिफिक ऑर्डर पास कर देगा शुरू में ही व्हेन यू फाइल द कंप्लेंट। 36 abstract of 36A, again it is from the act, abstract of 27 paper and ये आपने कभी ध्यान नहीं दिया होगा किस पेपर पे प्रिंट करना चाहिए। आई गिवन डिटेल वाइट लीगल पेपर ऑफ डायमेंशन, मैंने डायमेंशन दी है, उसकी ग्रामेज कितनी होनी चाहिए? 70 to 80। ग्रामेज मीन्स वेट पर ग्राम, 72 पर स्क्वायर वेट इन ग्राम पर स्क्वायर मीटर, पर स्क्वायर मीटर। हाँ 70 to 80 होनी चाहिए। प्रिंट क्या होना चाहिए? डबल स्पेस विद मार्जिन 1.25 इंच ऑन टॉप, ऑन बॉटम 0.75 इंच, लेफ्ट 1.75 इंच, राइट 0.75। ये मैं कहाँ से बोल रहा हूँ? डोंट यू क्वेश्चन, यू शुड क्वेश्चन सुप्रीम कोर्ट की हाँ स्पेसिफिकेशन, गाइडलाइन नहीं है, मैंडेटरी है। फॉन्ट 14 डबल लाइन स्पेस, फॉन्ट टाइप टाइम्स न्यू रोमन। पर आप अगर ये नहीं करते हो, कोई कुछ कहता तो नहीं है, बट इट इज़ द प्रेस्क्राइब्ड वे। टाइटल ऑफ द, ये अब कैसे बनानी है आप जानते हैं कैसे बनाते हैं। नेमिंग ऑफ द एक्यूज, ये इंपॉर्टेंट है। जब परमिशन लेते हैं तब भी हर एक का रोल लिखो, और इसमें भी लिखो कि इसने क्या किया, इस वजह से ये सेक्शन इन्वोक किया जाता है। डिसाइडिंग द नेम ऑफ, बहुत सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट, जब परमिशन लेते हैं यू मस्ट राइट ऑल नेम्स अगेंस्ट whom you want to go for prosecution, and my suggestion is send a copy of complaint कि मैं ये कंप्लेंट दायर करूंगा, इसमें ये एक्यूज्ड हैं, इनके खिलाफ करो। अब आपने सिर्फ नाम लिख के भेज दिया, ड्रग कंट्रोल को पता ही नहीं मामला क्या है, आपने क्या इन्वेस्टिगेशन करी है, क्या आपके पास एविडेंसेस है, हाउ कैन ही अप्लाई हिज माइंड। तो फुल डिटेल्स लुक एट योर एक्यूज एट मैन्युफैक्चरर लेवल, इन्वेस्टिगेशन रिपोर्ट, वहाँ जाके बहुत बढ़िया आपका वो है। नंबर 1, डोंट टेक सैंपल ऑफ द कंट्रोल सैंपल, never take sample of a drug which has been declared to be not of standard quality in the adjoining state or district. You are preparing defense for the accused. वो उसको लेके आएगा, देखो जी उस दिन वहां पे भी लिया था, वो तो पास आ गया, इसका फेल आ गया। सेम सैंपल का आप अपनी चेन में दोबारा सैंपल मत लो, सीजर करो। पार्टी नंबर 1 से सैंपल ले लिया, सेकंड ने डिस्क्लोज किया, उसके पास पड़ा है स्टॉक, यू सीज इट, डोंट टेक सैंपल। थर्ड पार्टी अगेन देयर इज स्टॉक, डोंट टेक सैंपल। फोर्थ मैन्युफैक्चरर, डोंट टेक सैंपल। सारों के एक्यूज बनाओ, ऑल केस प्रॉपर्टी इन द कोर्ट। बाय टेकिंग अगेन सैंपल we do not know manufacturer's batch number which is given is homogeneous or not. वो कभी 2000 टैबलेट कभी बनाता है, 5000 कभी बनाता है, बैच नंबर सेम लगाता है। एक बार नॉट ऑफ स्टैंडर्ड होगी, दूसरी बार स्टैंडर्ड थी, पहली बार आपने लिया नॉट ऑफ स्टैंडर्ड आ गई, दूसरी बार लिया स्टैंडर्ड आ गई। आप ही के पास 2 टेस्ट रिपोर्ट ऑफ द सेम बैच, हाउ विल यू प्रोसिक्यूट हिम? आप तो कर दोगे, उसके लिए तो आपने दरवाजा बना दिया सीधा घर जाने के लिए। एक चीज डिटरमेंट रहो, अगर आपको प्रोसिक्यूशन का मैटर है तो बी डिटरमेंट कि ही शुड नॉट बी एक्विटेड। आई गारंटी नहीं हो सकता अगर आपने प्रोसीजर फॉलो किया, कोई सी कोर्ट हो, कोई खास ही मोटिवेटेड जज हो तो उसकी तो कोई कुछ भी नहीं कह सकता। ओके 19(3) बेनिफिट, इसमें जो वर्ड है प्रूव है, डोंट बिकम ए जज। मुझे उसने बताया था जी मैंने इसने ठीक रखा है इसलिए मैंने इसको एक्यूज नहीं बनाया, रॉन्ग। Make him accused, let him prove in the court that he kept the drug in the same state, there was nothing wrong, court will release him. वही जाके मैन्युफैक्चरर के जा खड़ा हो सकता है जी मेरे से तो कभी सैंपल नहीं लिया, आपने एक्यूज बनाया नहीं, एवरीथिंग इज गॉन। He can go as a defense witness. Indian Evidence Act. Accused other than manufacturer level. Address of accused in complaint case. प्रॉपर देना चाहिए, अदरवाइज समन्स विल नॉट बी सर्व्ड। टाइटल ऑफ द स्टैट्यूट, स्टेप 4, I have given step wise. पहले क्या लिखना है, फिर क्या लिखना है, फिर क्या लिखना है, submission of complaint. Last part is prayer. ये बड़ी important है, you must pray. आप क्या चाहते हैं? Accused number ये इस section में, accused number ये इस section में, may be tried and guilty be convicted. Anything worth discussing we can discuss. हाँ, चाहे टाइम नहीं है तो भी क्या है, we can discuss. Please. List of witnesses, very important and mandatory, must be attached to the complaint. Without list of witnesses, your complaint will not be accepted, will not be admitted in the court. Case property. It can be submitted at the time of submission of the complaint or during evidences. Anyway, both are okay. Complaint has been filed. अब आपने क्या क्या करना है? Copies of the complaint. जितने accused हैं सबके लिए एक copy extra दो court को, one for the court, one for yourself. हाँ, don't use any emotional words. He was very angry. He's habitual in making. Habitual in who has been convicted several times. If there are several cases, he has earlier been convicted of the same offense, then you can raise this question at the time of sentencing, not during trial. Thank you very much. Next time से कोई और होना चाहिए टाइम देने वाला.
Actually sir, हम लोग को 2 days training होने से ठीक होता है, और discuss.
देखो, your head has to see what can be done or not. We have to accept as such, है ना?
We are expecting.
Make best use of the things, है ना?
Thank you, Rajendra Kumar Handa sir, for this beautiful insight on drug sampling procedure and power and duties of drug inspector. As we concluding this training program today, it is my honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks at the conclusion of this insightful and enriching one-day training program on sampling of drugs, investigation technique and launching of prosecution. First and foremost, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed guest and resource person, Sri N.K. Ahuja sir and Sri Rajendra Kumar Handa sir, for sharing their invaluable knowledge and expertise with us. Their insight on drug sampling, investigation technique and the roles and responsibility of drug inspector have greatly enhanced an understanding. I would also like to express my sincere appreciation to Srimati K. Sinha, Deputy Drugs Controller, Government of Tripura, for organizing this wonderful training program and for guidance and continuous support in organizing this program. And a huge thanks to all the participants for their active engagement and enthusiasm. Your curiosity and commitment to learning made this session truly interactive and productive. As we conclude, let us carry forward the knowledge gained today and apply it effectively in our professional roles. Thank you all once again for your time and participation. Wishing you a wonderful evening ahead. Thank you. And lastly, we have arranged a closing tea in the dining hall area. Please go there. Thank you.